Emily.
I'm Allie.
I'm Maylena.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're the titular Brats talking in the back row of the theater. This is the podcast where each episode one of us forces the others to watch, discuss, dissect, and analyze a film of our choosing. This week, I forced the other Brats to watch the 1938 film Bringing Up Baby, aka one of the greatest films of all time. They don't agree. Let's keep going! But before we talk about it, how was everyone's weeks? Mine was good.
The Olympics are currently on. We're
The
all
Olympics
watching
are on!
it. It's all our group that it's talking about.
I love you, Steven Norostic? Pommel horse guy.
Nedrostic.
The pommel horse
The
guy.
pommel horse.
That little nerdy
Pommel
white
horse.
man.
Pommel horse king now.
He's a
He
king.
got bronze.
On top.
Some respect
some
on his
respect on
name.
his name.
On top.
On top. We love him.
Simone, got 4 or 5 medals
She's
this Olympics.
It's insane. Like, what she did.
So good.
She flings her body
Did you
so
guys-
high up in the air.
She flies.
Did you guys see the beam routines that were happening
Oh,
today?
they're so scary.
I
all
didn't
of the-
watch those today. I forgot.
I didn't
No,
watch it either, but I
know,
saw it
but
on Twitter. So get on Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
But I think all of the girls except for like 2 fell off the beam in the exact same spot.
Oh.
So I think it's the beam's fault that they were all falling off. I think there was something faulty with the equipment.
Well, if it's
Faulty beam.
Of course.
and if it's the same spot, then yeah.
And if it's multiple people, there's
Yeah.
an issue and we have to look at it and then we have to do that event again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, their hands
okay.
would like slip off
Track
of
and
it.
field was happening this weekend too, and it was raining in Paris, and that was giving the athletes a lot of trouble. And like, I understand it's the Olympics, it's every 4 years, they're sticking to a schedule, but also it's raining. Can we do this some other time? They're having trouble doing their thing.
Exactly.
Pick another time.
That
That
happened.
won't stop them.
Yeah. That happened with cycling as well. When it was like the first day of the Olympics, and like everyone was falling everywhere in cycling, which was
That was a
The
little
roads
funny
are so
to me.
slippery.
I was
I would
laughing.
hate to see
Why
that.
are you laughing?
No, I felt bad, but I was also kind of laughing because it was every single person
It was
at
li-
the same
is kinda
turn,
funny.
and I was like, that's
It was
funny.
literally so bad. And they were like piling up. I was like, this is awful to
It's
watch.
Did you guys see that a few athletes who were doing I think it's a triathlon. It's where they're doing it's the guys who were swimming in the Seine.
In the Seine River,
Oh,
microdosing E. coli.
Yeah,
Terrible idea.
They
Terrible
swim
a
idea,
bunch of
by
them are in the hospital now
Yeah.
because they contracted E. coli. And officials are like, it has nothing to do with the river.
What?
It's completely unconnected. And
I-
everyone's like, it's
Didn't they-
clearly because of the river.
It's very
Shit
clearly
in the
These
river.
are some of the healthiest people in the
it.
country, in
The
the
clown?
world.
Pennywise is in the the clown is in the river.
No, there's like people like
Water.
shit in the river.
No,
it was like
like-
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
yeah. They literally were like cleaning the river, and it was like getting up to the event, and they're like, "Yeah, the river's not good. The river's not good. The river's not good." And then the day of the event, they were like, "It's fine," which just means it's not fine. Like it means it's very
No.
clearly.
No,
They were
the
like,
mayor was gonna swim in it to prove that it wasn't
President.
polluted.
President,
and then everyone else
president.
was like, "We're gonna shit in it," and then he was like, "Never
Yes,
mind."
I remember this.
I also I saw this could not be. I don't know if this is true. I saw it on TikTok, so take it with a grain of salt. But it was like a news source, and apparently I think it was one of the U.S. guys. In order to get acclimated to the Seine, he was in the decathlon thing. In order to get acclimated, he was microdosing E. coli every day in order to like get ready for the event. He would like go to the bathroom and not wash his hands. He would do all these nasty things in order to be like have his body become accustomed to it, which I think is crazy and wrong. I don't think that's good.
That is actually insane. I think he was like ingesting like E. coli.
It was like Pulp Fiction straight to the heart.
And then poke up a pretend syringe. Those are two different things.
A pretense?
Is that still ingesting?
With a syringe? Yeah.
Is that still ingesting? milk.
It's a-
Well,
it's
never
just-
mind. You're right,
It's
Sarah.
ingesting.
in a
Ingesting
different
is
way.
eating in
Through the
in
mouth,
order to
no?
get the
Yeah,
syringe.
that's ingesting. I meant injecting.
Ah,
Injecting.
okay.
They're basically the same word, but they mean very
Well,
different
yes.
things.
It's terrible though.
Yeah.
Well, they're sick because it's
Apparently-
the scent. And 2028 though, LA River. We're gonna fill it up, baby.
The scene from
Well,
Grease.
I sent you that
No.
text message. I sent that exact same text message. You were
That
like,
was
absolutely
amazing.
not. We cannot do that.
It's
Now you're
so-
turning around.
No, please do not
you're
swim in the
still in
LA
bed,
River. It is scary. It is
There's
just
also no water. We're in the middle of a drought.
and that's why we're
We
filling
have
it
been
up.
in a-
We say no
And
more
that's why we
drought.
I
We're gonna
have to
airlift
know.
water from the ocean.
If you guys had to plan the opening ceremony to the Olympics in Los Angeles 2028, what are you doing? Because I think we have the athletes go down the 6th Street Bridge.
Oh,
which is
that's
brand
actually
new.
cute. Oh, okay, I like that.
That is cute.
That's cute. Did you guys see that Tom Cruise is gonna be part of the opening for the LA Olympics?
yeah, he's
When is-
gonna be at the closing. I thought of this one.
He's
Well,
there.
he's gonna be both because he's gonna
'Cause he's Tom Cruise?
rappel down a building in Paris, and then he's
Oh.
gonna fly magically to LA, and they pre-filmed the
With
flying
his
to
Scientology
LA
powers.
He's gonna fly magically. He's gonna lift up and be free forever.
I don't know. He's probably
He's gonna
like
do his Mission
he's
Impossible
probably
stunt.
attached to a helicopter, and he's hanging underneath the helicopter with the torch. But like, he will be a part of the LA Olympics. I think that's
that
what
makes
he
sense.
deserves.
That one makes sense. The Paris one, iffy.
Snoop Dogg is there.
He is there.
Snoop Dogg is there.
He's really
Official
funny.
mascot of the
so
Olympics.
good that he's there.
I love
I'm
that.
so happy
It's
for
so
him.
funny.
He brings me joy.
Back to Allie's question with the LA Olympics. I texted this. We're gonna show them the Burbank Airport in all its glory. Not even LAX. Burbank. The Americana at the Glen.
Oh,
And then that AMC at Universal City Walk. That's a pretty good AMC. So we're gonna show them that. And then what did it say earlier? The VIP is the Jaws animatronic from Universal. It's the Bruce the one that goes
Yeah.
and then closes.
Mhm.
My
But
VIP.
we also need shots of the athletes on Hollywood Boulevard, and they're on that platform with the camera that spins around.
I hate that thing so much. That's stupid. You stand on a platform and there's a phone and it goes around you and they're like everyone's dancing. I hate that thing. I hate it. And then
I hate it.
that a-
too.
there's also going to be knockoff versions of like cartoon characters that you love that are walking in
know.
with the Olympians. Like Mickey Mouse, but he looks kind of wrong. You're like, that's not Mickey Mouse.
Kind of wrong. The ones on Hollywood Boulevard that you see.
They're scared, and then they're kind of scary. You're like, I don't know who you are.
Mhm.
And then
They are very scary.
And then they're also, yeah, no, this is good. They're gonna shuttle them in with the trams that they have at Universal as well. When you go into the back lot on the tour,
Yeah.
they're gonna shuttle them
We're
in.
gonna start at the back lot, and that's where Tom Cruise lands. He lands in the back lot of Universal.
He's on the Psycho House, on the
Yeah.
Bates
Lands.
Motel. He's not
Like a
crucified.
gymnast, he's like-
Oh, he's like he's doing a gymnastics routine.
God.
Dude, that's
If parents had their vigilante, we have Tom Cruise running around Universal Studios.
on the
Which
buildings.
one was that?
Who
Yeah.
was the vigilante? The Assassin's Creed.
And he could do it. Yeah.
Do you think
What?
that
Oh.
Tom Cruise flying, he just uses his arms as propellers and he just like That's how he flies.
He's I imagine he's going really fast as well. He's all he's just flapping really quickly.
No, but those
Like,
are the
he's just
powers that
speeding.
Scientology gave him.
allegedly.
That's
He's allegedly a Scientologist. We know though. We all know. That's actually also in the LA Olympics. Is
Oh.
is the
Scientology building?
no even better, it's just people on the sidewalk that are trying to convert others to Scientology. They put them in with the Olympians walking down. When
Oh!
They have to run away from them in
Yeah,
track and field.
That's the track and field event, is running away from people trying to convert you to Scientology.
I was harassed one time in Pasadena
Oh,
by a Scientologist.
by Scientologists.
Yes.
Oh no. Are you?
Yeah.
So
Well, I
your dad actively get mail from Scientology?
I have it with
chase
me
you
right
down?
here. My dad does get mail from Scientology. I don't know why.
Well, they're trying to tell him. They're all, sir, please, come to our.
Please give us a chance. Give me a
Um,
chance.
We need a diversity recruit.
He's the diversity. That's insane.
That's the diversity hire.
Your dad. Oh my
Yeah.
god. How?
At least he's not the personality hire.
He's my
Uh,
personality hire. I love you.
He is.
Sarah's
He's
dad.
my campus celebrity.
Yeah. My dad appreciates everything.
Oh,
I don't think I've
that's-
met your dad.
Yeah, you did.
He's
At the
at
events
the
we've
thing.
gone to. When I met Sarah's
But
dad.
like, yeah, but I think it was one of those things where I was there, but I
Mhm.
didn't actually connect with him.
Oh, you didn't connect with my dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I
grabbed
I'm-
his face.
I'm-
I love you. I connect with
I'm not doing that. He's married. He has children.
you. I love you. I would.
But I'm also just not good
him.
that good with parents. So
I understand. Yeah.
You were cool with my parents. You went right up to them and you were like, "I'm Melina. and
I
I'm Allie's
tried
friend."
so hard because I didn't want your parents to hate me.
That's.
And then we were never allowed to see each other again.
They're all. Oh, it's her. Never mind.
Uh-huh.
I was this close to telling your mom that I was raised Catholic.
Some
Yeah.
brownie points.
I was like,
trying to get
I
in.
went to Catholic school. I
I swear to God.
Oh, you know
I was in
what?
the faith. I was in the
I
faith.
should have told your mom that too.
I could lie.
Kind of sort
No.
of I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I can say the Lord's Prayer in English,
In
But-
and in
English.
Spanish.
But not Spanish, can you?
You
not
know
in Spanish. Unfortunately, I don't know
I
Spanish.
used to. I can't
Shame.
anymore.
Oh,
I
I
didn't grow up Catholic.
I can do the Hail Holy Mary. I like that one. That was my favorite prayer.
Save us from the
Um,
fires
The
of
Hail
hell.
Mary. It's nice. It's a good
Yeah,
one.
Oh, I love that one.
I love that one. It's
That's
really
a classic.
good. Yeah, I don't know if you guys did this at or you guys, Sarah. Sarah's the only other one of us who went to Catholic school.
This is true.
Unfortunately.
This is true.
But like, I don't know if you did this at your Catholic school, but when it was like, when you had to do the Hail Holy Mary, I don't remember which mass it's set at. I feel like it's in May, but I also could be totally wrong. But
I think it's
did
the
you guys-
rosary.
Is it the Rosary? I think it's the Rosary too. There is another one in May that's just for Mary, and that one's a bloodbath. That one was a bloodbath in my school.
What
Because
the hell?
all of the girls wanted to be the one to crown Mary in May.
Oh.
to do
Oh,
it.
the May crowning.
Over
I
everyone's
see.
head.
Is
Anyway,
it
Sounds
not
fun.
Is it the Assumption? It's not the Assumption. It's one of the holy feasts. It's one of the feast days.
I just know
It's
May is
the-
Mary's month.
yeah, because it starts
it
with an M.
her-
That was my reasoning.
It starts with an M. No, Oh, is it her conception? That's
Is it-
conception.
is it the-
No,
it's
that's in
probably the
December.
conception. Is that in
The
December?
Immaculate Conception's December 8th.
So it
That's
must be
right.
the Assumption. I don't remember the
Continue.
point I was getting at. We can move on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
To the movie. I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah, we'll go to the movie. This is one of my favorite movies ever. Ever. I love this. I love it so much. This is it on Criterion. I love this movie
Oh.
so much. It has a really
Mhm.
good Criterion cover. I like the little leopard print. But yeah, I have so much love for this movie. I genuinely, when I was rewatching this, started tearing up at the beginnings, like score. I was like, I love this movie. Anyway, I was so excited. I had to like walk around. Anyway, I love it for a multitude of reasons, but before I go into it, I'll tell you why it did not work in the 30s. Because this movie was a commercial flop. It failed tremendously. Because it was an RKO production, and it was over budget and over time. Specifically, it is said that Katharine Hepburn, who plays the woman in this, Susan? I'm bad with names. Susan. I'm bad with names. Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, who plays David, were laughing so much on set that production was frequently stopped. And so they were having such a good time that it went over budget and it went over time, which is fine. But
That's funny.
I love it's so funny. I love this movie because it's so funny and it's so out there. It was actually coined by Andrew Saris, a famous film critic, theorist guy, calling it like the screwiest of screwball comedies. I love screwball comedies a lot. I've talked about it ad nauseum in other platforms about how much I love screwball comedies. Yeah. I love this movie. I'm gonna keep talking about it like that. What other things? Hold on.
I want everyone to know half of the things that M retweets on Twitter are just fan cams of Cary Grant from this film.
Hell yeah.
And my Twitter feed is so curated that I don't get a lot of old film content on my feed. So whenever something from old Hollywood comes up, I know it's from M.
And my Twitter feed is so curated that I do get this content on my Twitter feed without even following these people. It just comes to me. And I'm like, shout out to my old Hollywood Twitter mutuals that I don't have. But in my heart, oomphs, we're oomphs together. I love... I'll talk about my first time watching this movie. I picked this up on a whim. And it was the first time I ever watched, like, a old Hollywood movie. And it felt so modern to me. This movie is very, even though obviously we have like a transatlantic accent and it's very deep and it's very intense, it's very much grounded in abnormality to the point where it's almost normal, if that makes sense. It's so like out there, and it's like this idea that I love in movies, which is like curated reality, and it's making things that are so out there, but it's in a movie, so it almost makes sense, and it feels so modern in that sense. Emily. I don't know. Yeah. Yay, thank you. I have a degree in this. And thank you.
Actually, for reals.
I do.
You do.
But yeah, people hated this movie because they were like, there's too much happening, which is, I realized was also things you guys did not like about this movie. Namely, Melina, who at one point went, I am so pissed off by this point, I don't care anymore.
Well, in my defense, I will say, I'm not a screwball comedy girl. I respect the genre and I respect the art that goes into it. There is a point where I do need things to actually happen.
Yeah.
And even though there was a lot of things happening, it didn't matter to me in my heart.
It didn't matter to me.
It didn't matter to me in my heart, and that's why I gave it 3.5 stars on Letterboxd.
It's still good.
I was like, this is a good movie.
It is a good movie.
I just didn't give it a heart because it pissed me off.
I understand 100%. This movie's very tiring in a lot of ways, especially that like back half of the movie. You're doing 9 different things at one point. They're at a house, they're in a car, they're in jail, they're at dinner. It's like there's so much going on, but it's so like I heard whistling and I got so scared right now. I was like, what's happening? Anyway, there's so much happening.
Cary Grant.
He's here in my home, in my heart. Cary Grant, I'm calling it now. I don't know when I think this episode will go out this stuff is gonna go out later. I'm calling it now. He's gonna be my #1 most watched actor on Letterboxd. Is Cary Grant. I've watched a lot of his films this year. What else do I have?
Sorry.
Other reasons why people fucking hated this movie. Everyone hated Katharine Hepburn at this time. Nobody liked her. She was flopping in the box office continuously, and up until pretty much this movie was like the breaking point for a lot of people. They were like, she's too headstrong. She was. Listen, it's a lot of misogyny, personally. From what I've gathered, it's a lot of misogyny.
That makes sense.
And she was then labeled box office poison by a very famous article in Independent Film Journal, where they listed a bunch of actors and actresses. They're going, these people suck, and effectively, it hurt a lot of people's careers. They all bounced back. There's famous people on here, most of them. Probably. I haven't read the whole list, but anyway. I just thought to acclimate to all of you who I know hated this movie. I'm kidding. I know you guys like this movie, but
I did not hate it.
thank you. What did you
I
like?
did not hate it.
Yeah, what did you like about this movie? I love this movie.
I like their accents, like
Okay.
transatlantic accent. Like I
It's
can't do
so-
that.
You're
This movie. You're
Yes.
it's so heavy, and you want to know something. So I love Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn together so much, because of the way they bounce back each other. The dialogue in this is one of the greatest things ever for me. I think it's so. There's so many little moments that are very fast and very quick and very, like, they play off of each other. The energy is so high at all times and everything. And that's a lot also with the transatlantic accent. It comes off even more so because of it. And it's very funny given a transatlantic accent, given that Cary Grant's not an American, so it's like different.
Is he British?
He is British. He comes, so
He British.
do you guys know Cary Grant's real name?
Oh, that's not his real name?
Mm-mm.
What is
Harrison.
Don't look it
Grant
up. I see your eyes, May. I'll tell you it. It's crazy. You will never guess what his name is. His name is Archibald Leach.
it? Huh?
Archibald. He
Well,
comes
that's
from
very
Bristol.
British.
He comes from Bristol. I can't do a British accent. I can only do a Cockney accent.
That sounds like a Harry Potter name. Archibald.
born in
No,
Bristol,
just because
he
they're
died
British
in
doesn't mean it's
Iowa.
Harry Potter.
No, we can Hufflepuff.
He's a Hufflepuff.
Archibald.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Hufflepuff.
No.
He is a Hufflepuff.
No.
I feel like he would
Was
be.
Cary Grant gay?
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
Because we'll figure it.
Okay.
I got some things about that. He also, Cary Grant came to America from England because he was a part of an acrobatic troupe and essentially stayed to become an actor.
Wow.
That's why there's
That's
so many
okay.
stunts in these films, and he can do them like so well and
He
everything.
did his own stunts. He was the first Tom Cruise.
Oh, no, Carrie, I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say
He was-
Charlie Chaplin, but I guess we could do Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is Cary Grant.
Always in my heart.
No, we shouldn't.
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Cary Grant.
Tom Cruise, Charlie.
Charlie.
I
It's
think
not
Cary
Charlie
Grant could do Mission Impossible, but Tom Cruise couldn't do Bringing
Bring
Back
Up Baby.
Bringing Up Baby.
Exactly.
So that's why he can do all these stunts so well. He came from acrobatics and specifically vaudeville. He was in a vaudeville troupe for so long, and then he was like, I'm gonna become an actor, and they give him a stage name because your name's fucking Archibald? Are you insane?
That's not gonna sell.
That's not gonna
That's
sell.
not gonna fly.
So Cary
Even
Grant
then.
was the name. And that again, going back to why I love this film, and specifically I love Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn's performances so much. They're so physical with each other. They are falling everywhere. They're like pushing each other. They're not like, stepping away and everything. They're so up in each other's faces, and they aren't afraid to get like down and dirty with it. They're always, okay, so like specifically the scene at the end where Catherine is hanging from his arm and everything after she destroys the dinosaur. That's real. Those aren't stunt people. That's Catherine and Cary. And apparently Cary Grant wanted stunt doubles for it. Even he was like, that's a little extreme. But Katharine Hepburn has no fear because she's the original bad bitch. Katharine Hepburn gave no fucks. Alright? And she was like, she said she knew I knew what I was doing. But the thing was, she was the one who had to do it just right. She really was a remarkable athlete. This is Cary talking. Just as she said, but just the memory of that scene makes me shiver. If Kate had fallen, I've never forgiven myself. We were both crazy. Bringing Up Baby has always been a screwball comedy. Well, we were both two screwballs. Which I think is a lovely sentiment.
That's cute.
But it's like so crazy to me. And it was all done in one take as well, because they had to take that dinosaur down.
It would have to be. You can't really rebuild the dinosaur.
Yes. And then, I mean, it's so crazy. It's also in, like, other films that they make as well. None of you have seen the film, I don't think. Maybe you have. Who knows? Probably not. You've seen the film Holiday. They did 4 films together, and 3 of them were screwball comedies, and the next one they did together was Holiday. And in that film, it's even more acrobatic. Catherine is standing on Cary's shoulders, and they both do a flip. They are, like, and they both, like, do somersaults and everything, and it's with them. And then, like, I was watching it at, like, midnight one night, and I was like, what? How is that even? That's crazy. He just did a backflip.
Insane.
Like, what's happening? Anyway.
It's not something you'd see in a movie. You'd see that at the circus.
At the circus was where he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was.
What? Where he was.
That's where he originated. What scene would require them to, like, flip like that? It
was crazy. I can't even. It was literally, like, they're supposed, in Holiday, they're basically, she's like, Catherine's playing like an heiress, essentially, a rich daughter, but she's kind of the black sheep of the family, and then Cary's supposed to marry her sister, and then he ended up falling in love with her. But in that, they're like just playing around. They're essentially in the playroom and everything, and they're like, let me show you something. And he just flips. And it's like, listen, it's cool. Is this necessary to happen? That was crazy.
Insane.
I love Holiday. We'll get to the big question, because May, you brought it up. Yes, all of you brought this up. Yes, this movie is very queer-coded. It's very much, you can read this with, like, a queer reading. You're right.
Well,
Correct.
I kind of knew going into it because you always talk about it. These are like some of your favorite queer people. You're always talking about Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, your favorite queers.
That's an insane.
We can't say it like that.
You can't. That seemed derogatory.
Not. No, wait. I'm an ally.
Ali the ally.
Ally. The A in ally stands for ally. The fist off.
The A in LGBTQIA
stands for ally. Oh no, she fell. There was an earthquake. Yes, this movie's very queer-coded. So Cary and Catherine both have very much gay rumors surrounding them. Before I talk about that, I also thought Howard Hawks did it as well. I could not find anything on it, but I swear to God he had that too. I was, like, looking it up, and I'm like, I swear, I may have been confusing him for George Cukor, which I usually do. Because in my mind, those are the same people. So it may have been George Cukor who made the third screwball comedy with Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, and also Jimmy Stewart, called The Philadelphia Story, which, if you want the original throuple, that's that movie, alright? Philadelphia Story.
Challengers.
The Challengers core in that movie.
That's the original Challengers.
It really was.
I will say, looking at pictures of George and Howard, George looks, and this isn't to say that the way you look is an automatic signifier of your sexuality.
But
George looks gayer to me.
Out of the two.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he played by Darren Criss in that one show?
Oh, Hollywood? I know what show you're talking about. George Cocor's homosexuality was an open secret. It wasn't Howard Hawks. I confused that. My bad. I thought it was Howard Hawks. It's George Cocor, who's like everybody knew was gay. So Philadelphia Story throuple. Imagine.
Was the Hollywood show before or after Darren Criss decided that he was going to stop playing gay roles and
before,
just like stop working in Hollywood?
I hope. I don't know. Okay. I hope after. Because I think that's funnier.
Okay.
No,
well, because like Darren Criss
after he
hasn't had a job since.
He has not.
He hasn't had a job since.
Yeah, because he's not playing gay roles, and that was his one market apparently.
Yeah, he was really good at it, and I need him to come back.
He was good at it. He was good. What?
He really good.
He did have that role in the Muppets Haunted Mansion thing. Was that Darren Criss? I always confuse that. Hold on. It may have not been.
I only know that Darren Criss was also in Glee, and he was gay in that one. Like, that was his main character trait.
Is he
actually?
Has he ever played a straight person?
No.
It was Darren Criss. Okay.
That was the whole thing. He was like, I've only ever played gay roles, and I've also won an Emmy for playing a gay role. Maybe I should stop playing gay roles.
What did you win an Emmy for?
Well, maybe look inside ourselves.
It was for the assassination of Gianni Versace.
Oh my god!
He was Gianni Versace.
Gay role. Did you say look inside? Maybe we look deeper a little bit. Not to.
Art imitates life, people.
Isn't he married?
It could have sworn like he is married.
Has that stopped?
Now.
Has that stopped anyone?
Exactly.
No.
The girls that get it, you know?
Well, but I want
Y'all
their marriage to be
if you know, you know.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of gay people that married straight, Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn as well. Cary Grant.
She married?
Married? No, they didn't.
They didn't marry each other. That would have been amazing.
She get married?
They married separate people. Cary.
I thought she was unmarried for some reason.
No, she married. But I'll get into it.
I'm disappointed.
So Cary Grant married. I can't even remember who Cary Grant married. It's some girl, some woman.
He married. I have the list.
Yeah, I was like, it's a couple people.
Oh, multiple.
Oh,
he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wives.
5 wives.
Evelyn Hugo.
Evelyn Hugo.
The 5 wives of Cary Grant.
He basically, but he was marrying women, but there was this article, and I've talked to the other brats about this ad nauseum about this article, but it like stunned me. It was this article in Vanity Fair that literally, it was this year. It was an article chronicling the life of Cary Grant with his longtime friend, in quotes, Randolph Scott, and basically in the 30s, when he was making all these screwball comedies, Cary Grant was very much going into fame and everything. He and Randolph shared a bachelor pad together, and lived with each other and did everything with each other and knew each other's quirks. But like they lived together, and like gay rumors were swirling around them because they're like, 2 unmarried men together? That could only mean one thing. And it could have. Who knows? But the thing that always got me at the end was that Cary, once they like split apart, I think it's because Cary was going rapidly into fame and everything, and he was like climbing up, and Randolph was not. They split apart. Cary was like, yeah, I couldn't make screwball comedies anymore because my heart was so sad. And it's like, listen, guys, that's an insane thing to say. Listen, I love my friends. I love you 3. But I don't know if I would do that if I would say that. And then he said, he said at the end of his life, like, he was like, yeah, Randolph was like my other half. What is the exact quote, actually? Because it's insane.
I remember you read this to us, and it was so heartbreaking.
It's
I was like,
heartbreaking.
no one's ever gonna love me like that, actually.
No one. Oh my god. Grant set aside several hours to admit to Royce, who was the, I don't know, writer or some biographer or something, that he'd been in love with Scott from his earliest days in Hollywood. Have you ever heard of gravity collapse? Some people call it love at first sight, he said, according to Royce. This was the first time I'd felt it for anyone. But as Royce remembered Grant in that moment, that man was ultimately at peace. Grant says, our souls did touch. What more could I ask? About Randolph Scott. Which is an insane thing to say about your friends. Listen, love you all. But that's crazy.
Disgusting.
That's
I would
crazy.
never say that about any of you.
Okay.
I've never, yeah.
So
Our souls
sorry.
did touch.
Our souls did not
We're
touch.
not getting to that level of poetry with this
with this
friendship,
with this
okay?
group.
No.
With this,
Yeah. No. It's crazy. I read that. I was in class and I was
so
like
beautiful.
weeping reading this. I was like, what the fuck? That's insane to read. Anyway, gay rumors swirling Cary Grant essentially his whole life. He did deny them, but obviously he probably fucking denied them because he would get eradicated from Hollywood. And he was at the top of his game for a lot of it, which is the sad reality of the Hollywood we live in. Katharine Hepburn, as well, had gay rumors, lesbian rumors surrounding her. Notably, she was said to have been in a relationship with her secretary, I believe, administrative assistant, and it was like basically at the end of her, like, they were always together, they always loved each other. It's also, I also read something that the secretary is buried like right next to Catherine as well.
oh yeah,
in a
they were
group,
together.
which I'm like, that's crazy as well.
They were together.
But it's also crazy because you, Sarah, were talking about how Catherine, what you were like, oh, I thought she didn't marry. She did marry, but she married another famous actor, if I get the name up. Oh my god. Sorry. Spencer Tracy. So Spencer Tracy had gay rumors around him. And a lot of, by the way, these rumors that came up are from one guy. One guy that was kind of this epicenter of it all. His name is Scotty Bowers. And he basically ran, like, this out of a gas station. This is also a true story. He basically ran... Yeah, you know, I think you know what I'm...
James Dean. He had something to do with James Dean,
Yes,
I feel like.
yes.
Okay.
So basically he ran out of his gas station. He would, like, hook up notably queer celebrities with other queer people in order to have sex with them and everything. He was like...
Oh, that was also a plot point in that Hollywood show.
Yes, because that was a real thing that actually happened. Scotty Bowers is very much alive.
And Rock Hudson was there.
Yeah. And Rock Hudson was there. And Rock Hudson, notable gay man.
Rocky.
So a lot of that movie, a lot of these ideas and everything come from Scotty Bowers, who was like, I saw this as well. I watched that documentary, and that was crazy. It was a crazy documentary. Anyway, he basically... Katharine Hepburn's husband, Spencer Tracy, who is also a notable actor, it was said that that was a lavender marriage in a lot of ways, but they were close friends and everything. And she was like, I love Spencer, just in different ways. Yeah. Anyway, I also thought Howard Hawks was gay, but that was George Cukor, and I'm sorry to Howard Hawks. I apologize.
Howard could also be gay.
You know what? He could have. A lot of people in old Hollywood were gay.
Not an insult.
It's not an insult.
Theater people.
What?
That's actually insane.
So many people in old Hollywood. You hear something, they're like, yeah, they were gay. And I was like, oh, wow.
The sewing circle. I've heard of the sewing circle.
You're... What? What did you say? You're in one? Sarah.
Oh. Well,
Like to
it
sew.
also makes sense that... Okay, Sarah. I don't know what you mean, but okay.
I was sewing. Continue.
Okay, I still don't get it. But it makes sense that there's a lot of closeted queer people in old Hollywood at the time, just because I think at that point, and also still now, performing in the arts is still what's the word? Tied with being queer
Yes.
and being gay.
Yeah,
If you're a boy
especially
and
because
you're dancing,
it's not
and
masculine,
it's not masculine, you're
Mhm.
wearing
not
tights,
traditional. Yeah,
and you're putting on makeup and you're putting on costumes, and you're homosexual. You're
homosexual.
homo.
Oh, whoa! But that's very much in bringing a baby as well. A lot of it, everyone kind of picked up on as well. Is it's a lot of changing. You see it a lot, if not all, screwball comedies. There's a lot of changing of gender stereotypes in these films. This battle of the sexes, switching of traditional, ideas of femininity and masculinity. So it's like kind of the opposites of what you think and everything, especially for the 30s. Um, like Katharine Hepburn in this is kind of, as she always is, a bad bitch. She's seen as like the jock. She doesn't really care about what's happening and everything. But Cary is very much. Cary is the most baby girl you ever seen a man ever. And in the 30s, that's very much seen as like, oh, so funny, ha 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 ha. But in like a 21st century thing, that's like, oh, that's very much a queer reading. I think also just because of what's surrounding Cary and Catherine, like you can see like, oh, these are. It's very obvious when you can see like gay roles perpetuated by gay people. It's almost a little different in a lot of the ways that it's like happening. I don't care who plays gay, but you can see it in a lot of ways. So for me, watching this, you can see like, oh, there's queerness being perpetuated right now. If that makes sense.
Wait, so were they like already established like stars by this time that already had rumors circulating?
Kind of. They were at a. Everyone was at a kind of a weird. Everyone was kind of at a weird crossroads. Catherine was on the decline because people fucking hated her, and they were like, "Get this girl out of here." Cary was on the up though. Cary had just been in another screwball comedy that's fucking great called The Awful Truth. Or am I no, yeah, it was Awful Truth. It wasn't His Girl Friday. That was later. And The Awful Truth, it was a huge success. It was with Irene Dunn, and he was on the up and up, and Howard Hawks was kind of stagnant, and so everyone was kind of at a weird crossroads, and so they were known though. Everyone was known, even with that. Yes. And I think one of the biggest perpetuators of, this queer reading is the very iconic line, "I just went gay all of the sudden," which is so funny. And he's so baby girl in that. He's in the little.
Was he wearing the robe?
Frilly robe?
Yeah.
He's in the
He's
little.
wearing the like flouncy robe that I think is pink. It's a black and white film. You cannot see color. I think
It is pink.
It probably.
This is also
100% pink
icon in Letterboxd, I realized.
That it is my icon on Letterboxd. It is. It is. If you, it's his little him sitting at the steps like this.
Sitting on the chair. Yeah.
Pause. Hello, Brat Emily here, coming at you from my home where I'm editing this. I realize I don't actually explain this well, and since I'm the video editor, I'm going to give a quick, better explanation before we get back to the video. I can do whatever I want. You can't stop me. Ha 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 ha. Anyways, bringing up baby queerness can be seen specifically in the space and the actors. A hallmark of screwball comedies is that traditional gender and sexual roles are reversed for comedic effect. But what's interesting about this film is the idea that the audience does not laugh at the characters, but alongside them. David and Susan understand the absurdity of the situation, but in different ways. David is over it all, which Susan and the audience can recognize as a repression of his own queerness as he navigates through a heteronormative world. But Susan, who is able to move in and out of the city into the country, an idea present in a lot of screwball comedies, representing that one is allowed to have a wild side, recognizes this within David and helps him along to the country, where his queerness can be free, so to speak. This is notable when David is in a frilly robe, yells out, "I just went gay all of a sudden," almost a declaration of who he is. Once the two go back to the city, aka the world of the heteronormative, they must become a couple. It's a lavender marriage. Does that make sense? I don't know. You can take away my film degree if not. Back to the podcast. Because I think he's so silly in that. And I love, also, sidetrack from that, I love it on that step scene. He's just there's such, like, repetition in this film. He's just sitting there, and he's all, and no one's, like, listening to him, and he's just sitting there, like, annoyed and everything. It's so crazy.
He was womaned in that scene. He was womaned.
He was womaned.
He was womaned.
He was womaned.
No, I really liked that Cary Grant. Like, Cary Grant is this, like, very classically handsome. He's well built. He's, like, he looks like what a man should be. But in this film, and I'm just gonna say in this film, I don't think I've watched another Cary Grant film. I could be lying to
Excuse
myself.
you, you've watched, we watched North by Northwest together, and we lost our minds.
But, okay, that's true. But that was a very different Cary Grant.
That's later Cary Grant.
And that was, like, 20 years later.
Yeah, he's, like, old man in that.
Yeah, but in this film, he's, like, he's such a child, I think, in, like, a very endearing way. Like, he's not assertive at all. He's very quiet in a certain way. The way that he's styled with, like, his hair, very floppy.
Beautiful.
And he has glasses. I wrote in my notes that he would be a perfect Clark Kent.
So, oh my god, I was going to tell you this. The 1978 Superman is based on him, on that character.
No.
So you're correct.
I have foresight. My vision is so clear.
I know. I was looking up trivia about this movie, essentially, and I saw that. I was like, that's fucking crazy that she was correct on that.
That's crazy.
Which, it makes sense.
I am correct on that, because, yeah, he would be a perfect Clark Kent Superman. But anyways,
R.I.P.
Cary Grant, I love you so much. He's perfect. And I love Katharine Hepburn because she's very Katharine Hepburn.
Exactly.
Very elevated. Like, she's always so upbeat and active, and she's never not moving. The only film that I've seen of hers where she's still is this film called Summertime.
Yes.
And she was older in that film.
Yeah, she was like almost the end, I think, of Katharine
Yeah,
Hepburn.
I think it came out in like the 60s or something. Maybe late 50s, something like that. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Also, going back to accents really quick, I could not understand a word she was saying.
It's so
like
thick.
she's always had like a very thick, sort of twangy accent, but with the speed that she was saying all of her lines, I could not understand a single word that she was saying. It was just like straight noise to me.
It was just like brown
how
noise.
How old are they in this movie?
Like the actors or the characters?
The actors. Because Katharine Hepburn was so energetic, in my head, Cary Grant is like 35 and she's at least 21. Just because she's, like May said, she's just going and going and going. And I work with kids, and it reminded me of the kids I work with. Because it's just one thing after another.
It's a child.
And she just can't not sit still. It's a
Cary
child.
was about
There's
34
always something going
when
on.
the movie came out.
Cary was 34.
Cary was roughly 34 when the movie came out. Katharine was roughly 29, 30.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty even.
Yeah, I could see that.
So they're not old by any means, but they're still quite young. They're also, the way that they move and the energy that they have, it's like, oh, so you guys are 19.
It feels like they're young, like they're our age and everything. Like, even though I'm
22 and I'm exhausted.
My bones are so brittle these days.
I'm exhausted. I don't have that energy.
Stomach. Yeah.
My stomach. Oh, it's for Sarah. For Sarah. And they're so lively, and that's every single one of their screwball comedies together. And they were making and this movie came out in the 38, and their last screwball was in 41, so it's not that big of a jump, but they're still like objectively getting older and everything, and it's so insane. Like, and then it's so good.
I could see so many traces of like modern screwball comedies in this film. And I was wondering if this was like the film that kind of like pushed like the screwball comedy to like the forefront and was like, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
Kind of.
Comedies.
What? There's no more screwball comedies because screwball comedies are so cemented in the Depression era.
Yeah.
They're all about class structure, and it's like, I mean, they could come back.
Yeah.
We're in an economic
The
crisis.
closest I can think of is like the Judd Apatow films,
no, yeah.
where someone's like dog bites like someone's dick, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever watched a Judd Apatow film.
What then?
so-
What the hell?
Like a
But that's the vibe I
rom-com?
always get from them.
Rom-coms are the
Yeah.
successor essentially, but they never
Like
they-
a physical.
I'm not the biggest rom-com person, which is crazy because I love these so much. The only rom-com that I think truly ever liked is 13 Going on 30. That one's good.
That's a good
That's
one.
the ones where
a
I
good
actually
one.
felt like the people liked each other. Like, I was like, these, Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo, they actually enjoyed each other's company.
Well, that's because it wasn't
can
an
I
enemies
jump-
to lovers. That was a friends to lovers story.
I think I don't like enemies to lovers. I love friendship.
Oh, Jesus
I
Christ.
love enemies to lovers.
I love
Okay,
a good
can I
enemies
skip
to
to
lovers.
the end though? Because speaking of, they actually liked each other. I was not convinced by the ending of this film.
No,
Catherine Hepburn shows up to the museum.
No.
Cary Grant runs up a ladder and says, "I'm so scared of you." And then,
he's just a
not
little
even
boy.
a minute later, he goes, "I'm so in love with you. He says, "I like you. I think I might even love you." I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then she breaks his beloved dinosaur.
And yeah, destroys a
And
dinosaur.
He
And that
also
was it.
he also just got out of like an engagement.
Yeah.
Yes.
My king was gonna get married.
No, and listen, shout out to that fiance. I'm on her side. I love Catherine and Cary in this, and I love that their little couple. I'm with the fiance. That's fucked. Like, I'd kill someone.
It is. It's really fucked. I think it's crazy. One, I don't really know how the fiance found them. Two, why did she wait until the night of her wedding, after he failed to show up to the wedding, to go looking for him?
Oh, I just figured she'd been looking for him all day. I think this was an all-day thing.
I don't think she liked him.
She was also a little too calm. Yeah, it was a marriage for convenience. Oh my god. Lavender marriage.
That's what I thought. Because at the beginning,
Just in
she's
the
like, "We're just only gonna focus on your career. No kids or marital affairs." And he's like, "No marital affairs, no kids,
No sex. What the
And
hell?
I was like,
No
"That's
sex.
kinda."
No.
I thought of extramarital affairs, and I was like, well, yeah, like
What?
that's not gonna be normal.
Extra.
She said marital, and I thought extramarital.
No. Super
He said
marriage.
No marital affair. And I thought that was like to point. I don't know. I just thought that was to point at like Cary Grant. I was like, that's a little. I was like, what does that mean?
scary.
What does
What's
that mean? Why
happening
did
here?
this fiance?
That they're in
She was so
an
adamant about it.
unhappy relationship.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Continue.
No,
The relationship between Cary, not their characters, but Cary and Catherine, also kind of came out of left field for me. One, because I was like kind of watching with half of my brain.
Well, okay.
So I'm sorry about that. But also, to me, it didn't seem like there was anything flirty, romantic going on between their characters. I thought it was just like an insecure gay man and a mentally ill lesbian taking care of a leopard.
Loving each other.
And then she declared that she was going to marry him. And I was like, hold on a minute. I think I missed a step.
I always took it as like childish love and everything. Like, oh, they're just. And that he didn't like. Because it's like, this marriage will not last with the fiance. I need to have someone that will take me out of my shell and take me onto adventures, and she's that woman and everything. It always felt like that for me, but I very much also see lavender marriage in their future. they're gonna realize some things later on.
I agree.
What do you have a microphone now, sir?
I need to talk into it. But during the whole film, she does try to get him to like be closer to her, which I thought was kind of weird, like manipulative in a way.
Oh no, she's like evil
Well,
in this film.
No, she's very evil, but I also just thought it was the way that it's the same way that like lesbians and gay men hang out with each other. You know?
What?
It's like, oh, from a
Yes.
distance, everyone's gonna think that they're a straight couple and that they're in love, and no, they're just a lesbian and a gay man and they're best friends.
And
Yeah.
their marriage defies all expectations.
Yeah. They were married for 35 years. Here's how they did it.
Oh my,
That one article.
it is that one article. Oh my god. This is, oh my god, that's so funny. It's very much, it feels like that in a lot of ways.
Did they kiss at the end?
So they do like a closed thing. I don't think they weren't allowed to kiss because they weren't actually technically married, and in the Hays Code, you have to be technically married in order to kiss on screen. So they do like a huggy thing.
Insane.
They do like a hugging thing, but I don't think they were allowed to kiss. Again, all in
Okay.
production code. I also could be wrong.
Here's
I
my
don't know that
headcanon. Here's my headcanon. They still get married, but one, it's a lavender marriage, and two, they do it for the tax benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it.
I can see it.
I don't know. I don't know if they had tax benefits back then.
I don't think women were seen as people.
Well,
Not
they
yet.
could they vote at that time? Yeah, they could. They
Yeah,
could
women
vote
can
at that
vote. Women
time.
can vote.
Yay.
So they were
We
like
have suffrage.
half. Women were half people.
They could
That's
vote
a terrible
can't have
thing for me
bank
to have
accounts.
said.
in years.
They couldn't have
Or
bank
own
accounts.
homes.
That's
True.
true.
Divorce.
So maybe there
They
were no
couldn't.
tax benefits.
A headache.
Shit.
Died.
I
Well, it
also
might
thought
be
of
either
6
like
as well.
the
I was like,
United States.
No, okay, sorry.
No, go.
Going off of that, like the misogyny during the time, I know that Katharine Hepburn was also in Little Women and she played Jo
Mm-hmm.
because of how like athletic and kind of like tomboyish she
Tomboyish,
was.
yeah.
But like there's a
Very
lot of
good Little
like
Women.
yeah, there's a lot of negative like talk about Katharine Hepburn, like because when I went into this film, like maybe it's just internalized misogyny, but I always like read that Katharine Hepburn wasn't like a good person, and like I realize now that that's just from like misogyny, and like she was very assertive, and so people kind of saw that and they were like, oh, she's a bitch, you know what I mean?
Was there any instances where she was a bad? There could have been. There could have been actual instances. I don't know of any,
Yeah.
but I know a lot of the time
Could
it was.
genuinely be a bitch.
She could be a bitch, but I think it was like
Mhm.
it was in a way that's very like I know what I want and I'm gonna get I'm gonna get
Yeah,
it.
like assertive.
She's very assertive and has
Mhm.
dominance. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it comes out in the film as well. A lot of these characters, especially in these screwball comedies, because it plays so well into those tropes of screwball comedies where it's the woman is seen as assertive, because that's funny. Isn't that funny? That's haha.
Yeah,
Woman
hilarious.
being dominant in a relationship. Wow. Funny. But it plays really well with her because she was like, I take no shit. That was kind of her MO, was I take no shit. And I'm not going to.
And I respect her for that.
I respect it.
She should.
Oh, there's some other stuff. They only made 4 films together, Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, which I think is a damn shame. They made a film. This is their second film together, and their first film together was a film called Sylvia Scarlett, which is heralded also as like a queer classic, because in that, if I'm correct, I think I'm correct, but Katharine Hepburn dresses up as a man and like kisses women in that film and everything.
Ooh.
And it's like some of the first like lesbianism in that film. And Cary Grant's also in that film. Is that the film? No, that's not the film. There's a film
Oh,
where Cary Grant's
I'm
like a
thinking
boy
of
toy.
Marlene
and-
Dietrich.
With Marlene Dietrich. Yeah, that's with Cary Grant,
In this suit.
and he's like a boy.
Oh, okay.
He's like a boy toy in that film. That's a different one. But Sylvia Scarlett, he's also there, and they met and everything, and then they did Holiday and Philadelphia Story together, which is they're both all really great. I love these movies. Other things, the biggest cast, the biggest star in this film. Fuck Cary. Fuck Catherine. You want to know who Baby is? Because I think all of you were surprised it was an actual leopard in Connecticut.
Ugh. That upset me so much. I was so pissed off at that point.
Why? That's like 30 minutes in. So angry already.
I know. I was pissed off. Look, I didn't know anything about this movie except that Katharine Hepburn was in it, Cary Grant was in it, and that he wore a silly little robe. That's all I knew about this
That's all
movie.
I cared about.
Okay. I didn't know that there was a leopard. I didn't know that there were going to be 2 leopards. There's 2 leopards in this movie, guys. Look. I was so upset when I found out that the leopard was called Baby. The first time she called the leopard Baby, I thought I misheard, so I had to rewind, and I had to read closely the subtitles so I understood. And then when I finally understood, I had to pause the movie to be like, this movie is about the fucking leopard?
They raise a leopard.
Yeah.
It's Baby.
We're
Not
gonna
even
spend
raised,
the
though. They
entire
moved it
time
from New York to
chasing a leopard?
Connecticut.
Both of you talked at the
So-
exact same time. I heard nothing.
Sorry.
No, I was just
What'd
saying
you
that
say,
they
Ellie?
hardly. I know that the description of the movie also says that they raise a leopard. They hardly raise it. They move it from one state
Yeah.
to another.
They just chase it.
Hardly raise.
I think raising is like a very loose term. They're chasing the leopard.
Yeah,
They're chasing the leopard.
Were there 2 leopards?
there was 2 leopards.
Yeah,
There
I
were
like-
no,
Like,
not
actually
no.
two
One of them
leopards.
was
So I'll go
It was the
into
same
it.
one.
I'll go into it. There was one leopard.
one of the leopards was the good leopard.
There was a good leopard and an evil leopard. Evil leopard. But it was actually one leopard. Her name was Nissa, Nissa. And everyone was kind of afraid of Nissa, except Katharine Hepburn. She couldn't give a fuck. Bad bitch, once
course.
again. She was the most unafraid, and they let the leopard loose during, like, breaks and everything, which I think is insane. Low-key insane. But whatever.
Free range.
A free-range leopard. And Catherine would, like, play with it and everything. Catherine wore a perfume, apparently, and the leopard really liked the perfume, and so would always come to Catherine. She said, I had a really good relationship with Baby, with Nissa. But she did almost get attacked once during the shoot. So apparently, she was wearing one of her dresses during one of her, like, big fancy dresses and everything, and she apparently did a turn in that dress, and it caught the eyes of Nissa, and Nissa went and pounced almost on her and, like, attacked, and the only reason she, like, essentially, from what I gathered, survived the attack is because this is animal cruelty. The trainer got a whip and cracked it at Nissa.
Oh no.
Which is animal cruelty. Do not know.
Animal
Okay, I
cruelty,
was
but
wondering-
it's also either a little bit of animal cruelty or Katharine Hepburn dies.
Or just someone dies. Listen. I understand. It was bad. I understand. It's bad. Yeah.
Bad
Nuance.
situation.
Which is crazy. She almost died. But the funny part, and in line with their characters as well, is that Cary Grant was the most afraid of Nissa. He apparently
Baby
would
girl.
not be in scenes with her. And so any of the times you see them together, it's a body double. That is not Cary Grant. That is somebody else.
That is so funny.
The reason, like, that's...
You have to do your job.
You have to do your job. He was like... He literally said in a quote, he was like, I try to get along with, like, everyone on the set. You know, everyone's important. He's all, I do not care for that leopard. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, thank you. So, like, literally that scene where, like, Nissa, Baby, is playing with David and everything with Cary Grant, and it's just the feet, that's somebody else. That's not Cary Grant. That's why it's like shot kind of not like weirdly, but different than a lot of the other scene. I thought that was funny.
Mhm.
But the reason, so it's one leopard playing the good and the evil. And this actually led to a breakthrough in split screen technology in the 30s. We see it now as rear screen projection, but in the time, it was new information. It was new technology being built. So thank you, bringing up Baby. We have split screens now because of you.
We have the Parent Trap.
Where's Nissa's Oscar?
We have the Parent Trap because of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I still could not understand how they had Lindsay Lohan and Lindsay Lohan standing together until like 2 years ago.
And now, in 2 years ago, that...
There's 2 Lindsay Lohans.
And not even, like, that's the modern Parent Trap. Like, they have the technology. There's an older one that's even, like, crazier.
Yeah.
Oh, with Haley Mills.
With Haley Mills.
That
one
one's
scares
creepy.
me.
I hate that one.
That's
watched it for so
terrifying.
many years.
Oh my god, it's
I've
so
never seen
scary. Those are devil children.
The
They're
Shining
devil
Twins.
twins.
That's a double child. Yeah.
Oh, also, with the leopard and everything, Katharine Hepburn one day wanted to torture Cary Grant because she thought it was funny how much he was scared of him. Scared of the leopard. So she put a stuffed
On
leopard.
character.
She put a stuffed leopard in his vent in his dressing room, and she said he was out of there like lightning. So anyway, I thought that was funny. And that was the
That's
only.
how lesbians
Okay,
treat their gay best friends.
Earlier when you
Okay.
said that the movie went over budget, I thought it was because of the leopards. I still thought there was 2.
Leopard
Because
dudes.
leopards expensive,
Leopard
Leopards are
money.
right?
expensive.
leopard money. No, it was just Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn being silly.
You're being silly
That's funny.
gooses on set.
I do think part of it was the leopard. They had to
Probably
keep the
half
leopard
of it
longer
was-
than
half
was
of it
originally
Where did they get the
intended.
leopard?
It was the only.
Where'd you get it?
MGM.
This is RKO.
Mhm.
It was the only trained leopard apparently in Hollywood, and that was the only film she ever did. Nissa lived a free
Oh.
life after that,
That's good.
which is fine.
Good
That's
for
good.
her.
That's
Where's
fine.
her Oscar?
But also, like, if she was a trained leopard and then they set her free in wherever a leopard's natural habitat is, I don't think she's doing
She's probably
very
dead.
well.
Probably very
No.
dead.
She probably died so quickly.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Nissa.
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 R.I.P. Nissa.
Nissa. Not Nessa, like in
R.I.P.
Wicked.
Nissa.
Nissa.
Okay.
Nissa.
I just want to say that when I first heard Katharine Hepburn talk, because I've never heard her speak before, there's an SNL skit where Kristen Wiig is like pretending to be Katharine Hepburn. I had no idea she actually sounded like that. Like insane.
It's-
Like her transatlantic accent.
It's thick. It's a thick transatlantic accent.
Thick.
And I think all of us should start speaking in transatlantic accents. How
How's
do you
it-
even? Hi. No.
I can't do it. Oh,
I don't know.
Sorry.
I, whenever I
It's
try
like
to kind of
halfway
do a
British
British accent,
but not really.
yeah, babe.
You have to
that's the
drop
whole
your
point.
R's.
You have to drop. What do you mean?
I had
drop
to
your
do it in a
Rs?
play in high
Drop your
school,
R's.
but that
Drop
wasn't
your R's like this.
good.
What play was
I
you
was in
doing
Harvard.
where you had to do a
British.
transatlantic
I don't
accent?
It's
I know
not
it's British. I can't do the transatlantic accent.
Transatlantic accent.
Transatlantic.
That's British. You gotta drop your R's and then stretch your
I
vowels.
don't know what
I
that
don't know.
means. You keep
Stretch
saying
your
it. I
vowels.
don't
Like
know
in-
what
like
it
in a
means.
Boston
eyes,
accent?
like a transatlantic
I don't know how to
accent.
do a
I can't
Boston
do it.
accent either.
I could
You
do a
don't know-
Cockney
Coffee,
accent.
coffee, coffee.
That's all I got,
Cockney.
mate. I can only do a Cockney accent.
I like doing
The
the
Cockneys are
Australian
not
one
gonna
around
like
the
us.
kids at work. It spooks them because they're like, why do you know how to talk like that? I'm like, I spent 2 weeks abroad at the Down Under
I know how it works.
In the outback.
Hey, up back.
in the
Mhm.
back.
Nope, but-
Oh yeah, man. I
was
just
bad.
spent 2 weeks abroad. That wasn't right. Never mind. I walked into that confidently and I couldn't do it.
They mention Riverdale in this movie.
do.
When did they mention
That's right, we
Riverdale?
They live. Do they live in Riverdale? Is that what it was?
No,
Oh,
they
they
say
live
that
there.
there is a town called Riverdale.
This is
near-
happening at the same time. The events of Riverdale are happening at the same time of bringing up Baby. They are one and the same. Archie,
Same universe.
Archibald. It all comes together. Archibald.
Bringing a Baby happens
Ah.
during the same time as Riverdale, the last season of Riverdale, when they go back in time to the 50s. 30s?
This is in the
Whatever, they
30s.
go back in time.
The 30s. But I think in Riverdale they do mention history of the town in the 30s. I don't remember what it was, but it was around
true.
back then. Yeah, there's a
There's
lot of
big
lore.
history. Riverdale was involved in the witch hunts.
Mm.
I got this from my UnCarly Riverdale recap.
Yep.
God
Yep.
bless
Me
her.
too.
Where is Riverdale located? Is it in Connecticut?
It's in like New York or something.
So it could be. It could be.
Like an hour away.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Because it's also in the same universe as The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what
the
they're called.
trifecta of the universe is
Now,
Riverdale
theirs was Greendale.
from
Right.
Community.
Theirs was Greendale. Yeah.
It's from the Community
it's also
universe is
Community.
also in this. Abed
It's
Nadir
expanded.
lives in the same time as David Huxley.
I was convinced that they killed that man that they threw the rock at. I was
Oh.
That's such a
before
funny
I
scene.
actually figured out what the movie was about, because this happened kind of early on in the movie.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
thought that they killed the man and then they had to run from the cops.
They're
They
on the
don't.
lamb, and then they do a Thelma and Louise
They're on the
situation.
lamb. Exactly. But that didn't happen, and I was a little sad about that, but that's okay.
I love that scene so much. That's again part of that humor that's so good in this movie. It's so fast, and you know it's gonna happen, but you can't like stop it. It happens so quickly and everything, like how I can stop other
That's
movies.
a very funny scene. Exactly.
She like,
Yeah.
love it.
I really liked the first half of this movie before
Yeah.
the dinner scene. The dinner scene is, my god, 20 minutes long. They do the same stuff 5 times. I started losing my mind.
It's a lot of repetition, but I will say that it's a lot of just going on and everything. It's a tiring
Yeah.
movie. You're tired watching
so
this because you're like, how
tiring.
is this happening so much?
Yeah.
I will say, and this is, I rated this when I first watched this. I watched this at home, and I rated it like 4 stars, maybe 4.5. So I watched this. The second time I watched this, there we go. That's a better way to say that. The second time I watched this, I got to watch this at the New Beverly in LA, which I love. I love you, New Beverly. I love you so much. It was on film. It was wonderful. And watching it with like
Was this recently?
yeah, this was like a couple weeks ago, honestly.
Why do I feel like you've watched this like 10 times?
In my mind, yes, I have watched this 10 times. Up here, it's always playing. Up in here. But I got to see this, and it was so much better with an audience, and that's the power of movie theaters. Everyone in there, and listen, LA movie theaters are fucking crazy because you get cinephile of the cinephiles there, and they're the people that clap at, the director and everything. We've had experiences with this, and we hate. Listen, to all my LA moviegoers, stop clapping during a film. Just no, we don't need to clap. Clap.
I will come find you.
I will find
and
you.
strangle you. I'll find you.
If you guys are wondering what Em and May are referencing, we went to the TCM Film Fest this last February and we watched Sabrina.
It
and
was in
everybody
April.
clapped. Was it April? I don't know what day it is.
Allie was asleep halfway.
It was in April.
And in our hearts, Sarah was also there, but Sarah couldn't.
I was
In our hearts, yes.
Yeah. I was on a field
People
trip.
clapped when Audrey Hepburn came on screen. People were clapping during the credits. Which
For me, it was the people clapping during the Chinatown screening that I always think
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Allie wasn't conscious
fell
for that.
asleep
She fell
during
asleep halfway through.
Allie did fall asleep for
She was taking a good
moments.
sleep, taking a good nap. God bless her.
I don't
The
mind
good
it when
sleep.
people clap during the credits. I could not
Big
give less of a
sleep.
fuck.
Yeah.
If you're clapping during the film,
During-
I need you to walk out of the building before you do that shit. I'm trying to watch this bad movie.
It was the Chinatown screening. There was one guy. It was also the one guy also clapped for fucking Roman Polanski. Do not clap for Roman Polanski. Are you
Don't
kidding
clap
me?
for
Oh, he
Roman.
directed that. I
fuck?
forgot about that.
And it was so there was every single like kind of the major scenes in that Chinatown every scene that guy would clap to the point where people were like booing him, which honestly respect to those people, but like I was like, oh my god, stop stop cheering, stop clapping, like I just want to watch this movie. Like we don't the credits are fine, I think, like end credits, and it especially I think maybe for LA crowds, especially if you're watching during like the TCM Film Festival, you're heralding old Hollywood and everything, and you see, like, you're gonna clap.
That's
if Cary Grant came on the screen, you clap. That's fine. Not during it. Just watch the fucking movie. Just, God.
Just watch the movie. I hate it when people do it for old movies, and I hate it when people do it for new movies. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine over the weekend.
Rough.
Bad experience. People were clapping at every single cameo, and there was a new cameo every 10 minutes. I was losing my mind. And like the movie was already just not my favorite. Immediately it started, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna die now, you know? But then people were clapping and they were cheering, and I was like, can we have a little bit of silence while I watch this bad Marvel movie?
This terrible Marvel movie. Decorum! Have decorum! Think of your fellow man.
People have no theater etiquette, I've learned.
It's so
like
bad.
in movie theaters and plays, like
It's so bad.
Yeah. A lot of people blame COVID and the fact that people were quarantining for a long time for the reason why there's no theater etiquette or concert etiquette. There's never been theater etiquette or concert etiquette.
Yeah.
Like, people have never had decorum. I remember watching Avengers Endgame in theaters. Every 10 minutes, someone was cheering. Someone was clapping, and I'm like, I just want to watch the movie. I missed, like, a minute of dialogue because you guys are cheering. I'm gonna kill somebody. I didn't say that.
I yelled out in front of everyone, I will kill you! Oh my god. Going back though, it's way better. Everyone was laughing a lot during bringing up baby. It was just so lovely. And it made my experience so much better, and it made me appreciate jokes more. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really funny. It made me appreciate there's a joke in here that's so good. It's the constable, and he's a dumb character. So bad. But there's a joke he says that's so funny. It's when the lawyer comes up to him and he's like, if you don't release, these people, I'm gonna have you fired. And the constable just very quietly goes, uh-oh, election's next week. And it made me laugh so hard. I was like, that's so funny. Anyway.
Yeah. Comedy is the one genre that you have to watch with other people.
Yeah, you can't.
Like,
yeah, you can't be silent.
you can watch it by yourself, sure, but like it's not gonna have the same effect as watching it with other people.
Right. It's true.
This was a good movie. Thank you, Em.
Watch Holiday and the Philadelphia Story as well. Very similar.
Cute.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching Bringing Up Baby. I love you, Bringing Up Baby. Love you, Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn. I love everyone. Please follow us on Instagram at Brats in the Back Row. Please follow us on Spotify. Same deal. Brats in the Back Row. Subscribe on YouTube. Brats in the Back Row. Am I missing anything? I don't think I am.
Music.
No.
Okay.
Are we
if
not
you
on
have
Apple
any...
We are gonna. Em's trying to get on Apple Music, but Em almost destroyed her phone.
Hopefully by the time this episode comes up, we will have Apple Music. At the time of recording, we do not. If you have thoughts or opinions about bringing a baby, please feel free to email us at bratsinthebackrow@gmail.com.
Yes.
We make things so easy to find. We're very easy to find. We have the same handle everywhere.
It's called branding, people. Well, look it
Yeah,
up.
branding.
Look it up. All right. Well, I'm Emily.
I'm Allie.
I'm Aelina.
I'm Sarah.
And we've been Brats in the Back Row. Goodbye.